both voting for Sam Cooke. And not that I had a problem with your song. I just like Sam Cooke better.
Okay.
So that's all. So I don't know what time we're going to lunch because I have somebody. Hold on. He said 11 o'clock at yours. You said 11 o'clock at yours. Well, I have somebody coming here, so we may be a few minutes late, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah,
so
well,
I'll see you then.
All right.
Bye.
We have a couple of leftovers.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Yeah, all right. Go ahead.
Commonality: Fats Domino, Sam Cooke, James Brown, and Chuck Berry. And then Jimmy Stewart said about this woman, everybody just sat around waiting for her. Who was the woman he was referring to?
Oh, I know who it is now.
Oh, you do?
I think I do.
Okay. That's the two leftovers, and continue on.
All right. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
This is good morning. It's the Wavy Davy.
Morning, Wavy Davy.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Lee's song as Sam Cooke. I love Sam Cooke, and he mixed school with a love song. So
Yeah,
that was kind of cool, you know. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can remember as far back. I always remember having a backpack. I mean, you know.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 67. I don't know. I started. I remember, but I remember the guys carried their books on the side on their hip, and the girls carried them like up front, you know, in the front on their chest. Mm-hmm. I noticed that.
Some of the guys carried them up front too.
Yeah, well, I thought that if you carried them like that, you were like a girl, you know. If you carried your books up.
I don't remember the backpacks coming in until like the 80s. But
no, I can't think back where there was no.
I don't know why. I mean, it was great idea. Yeah. I mean, you know,
they called it a school bag or a school.
Yeah,
I would school bag.
Over the shoulder bag, like they were green. They were like army green.
Yeah, I don't.
I would have loved to have had some kind of a
type, you know.
I would have loved to have had some kind of a war surplus kind of thing. You know, that would have been cool, man.
But it wasn't easy.
So, that Sam Cooke, I love almost everything he did, you know. But these two songs, that one there, Lee picked a good one. I was hoping he would. When I heard the first song, Chuck Berry's song, it's fairly simple, you know. It's just da-da-da-da-da-da, you know. It's good song, but nothing special about it. You know. So.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
me today.
We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Yep.
OM 1240.
Every once in a while, you meet a businessman that you just can't wait to do business with. Steve Peluso of Peluso Precision Automotive at 93 Blackstone Street in Mendon, Mass. is such a man. He specializes in mechanical repairs of vintage and classic cars. And if you don't have one, you'll want to have one just to share the experience with Steve. Maybe you had one in the past, never had a resource like Peluso Precision Automotive to keep it running and chase down parts for you, but now you do. Stop in and see Steve, and Steve will steer you in the right direction. Call Peluso Precision Automotive at 508-478-8900. That's 508-478-8900.
This Tuesday and every Tuesday throughout the summer is Car Cruise Night at the Beef Barn in North Smithfield. Car Cruise Night was very popular last year. In fact, more than 200 modern and classic cars and trucks attended each week. There's no charge to participate, and it's open to the public. So make plans to be at the Beef Barn every Tuesday. Car Cruise at the Beef Barn starts at 3 p.m. Check their website in case of inclement weather. Car Cruise every Tuesday beginning at 3 p.m. at the Beef Barn, 200 Industrial Drive, North Smithfield.
Where's that?
All right, we are back, and I had something I wanted to introduce everybody that's here today. We're here today with Lee Lyons.
Good morning.
And Fast Eddie.
Good morning.
All right, a little short staff today, but that's okay. We shall muddle through. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Good morning, folks. Dave from North Providence. How are
Hey,
you
Dave.
Great seeing you on Sunday, Gary.
And you. We had a ball.
And
Thank you.
Sam. Yeah. And thank you for the the challenging games of Connect Four. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope I taught you something, you know.
You did. Humility.
Humility.
So both great songs today, both phenomenal songs. I'm going to go with Chuck Berry, though.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like the...
If you like
and,
one Chuck Berry song, you like them all.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're all
yeah.
the same almost.
As far as the thing I looked forward to when I was a kid going back to school was buying a new lunchbox every year.
Yeah.
They had great lunchboxes back then, you know, all TV shows, cartoons, what have you. We try to get a new one every year because they used to get beat up and soiled with milk and...
I had a
mold
Matt
and stuff.
Dillon one.
Yeah?
I think I had one lunchbox my entire school career,
Never had
and I don't remember anything about it except I liked it. I mean, it was, you know, had thermos. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't do a lot of you know, brown bagging or lunchbox lunches when I was a kid. We had the cafeteria food was pretty good and it was pretty cheap. So
Yeah. I don't know if we had... I mean, I went to a Catholic school when I was in elementary school, most of it, and I don't remember having a cafeteria. I think we had milk, and that was really about it. But I don't think we actually had hot or cold lunch.
Yeah, it was first grade. We had when I went to the little brick school in Franklin for first grade. They didn't obviously have a cafeteria. It was a one-room schoolhouse, so there wasn't any room for a cafeteria. So you brought your lunch, but they did deliver milk, and the milkman would deliver it every morning. And if you helped him bring it in, you got a chocolate milk.
Nice.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah. I used to put the milk out at school, in high school, and I'd get a free lunch, a hot lunch every day from the cafeteria, so that was always good. I have a trivia question
Alrighty.
Okay.
about the actor Robert Shaw.
Yes.
Okay.
So when he arrived on Martha's Vineyard to film Jaws, they hooked him up with a local person there who became this kind of inspiration for Quint, but also they became such good friends they'd go out drinking every night and carousing in Martha's Vineyard. Who was this actor, and who's the character he played?
I'm trying to think of actors who lived in the vineyard.
Yep.
The only one I can think of was probably dead. So.
Who?
Where did Anthony Quinn? Where did he live?
Oh, I don't think he lived on the vineyard.
No.
James.
Later on, he actually lived in Bristol, Rhode Island, and my sister and little niece met him when she was about 5 years old. She was wandering in the supermarket, and he found her and brought her back to my sister.
Wasn't James Woods, was it?
Nope.
No. Okay. I don't know.
James.
All right, we'll leave it out there. See if
Cagney?
anybody gets it.
Well, Cagney was Cagney wasn't alive then. I don't think.
No.
Let me clarify. This guy was not a professional actor, but was an actor in the film.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Joe Smith.
That makes it even more obscure.
That guy.
All right.
Joe
Well,
Doe.
All right, I'll leave it out there, guys.
see
Have a
if
great
anybody
day.
knows.
Okay.
A friend of mine was actually there. He was one of the directors at the Pennaquis Island School, and he was their guide to find real sharks out
wow.
there. So his name was David Mash, and he was a pretty interesting guy. But
My friend from high school, Tim Silva, his dad had bought property there back in the 40s, and they used to go there every summer. He actually works for the Woods Hole Oceanographic Society now, and he owns property now on Martha's Vineyard, which he does like rentals and stuff. So they got in early there.
yes, you had to.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
We'll talk to
Thanks.
you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning. To my speaking.
At Boston Technical High back then in the 70s, everybody carried their books in one of those brown duffel bags over their shoulder.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking of?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But mine was green, a dark green.
Well, you know, Lee, I have a color deficiency for green and brown. It could have been dark green.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just everybody had the same color duffel bag.
Uh-huh.
And in Mendon, you used to use like seaweed to tie your books together.
What are you trying to say?
Which is me.
You don't,
You know what I'm trying to say. You were playing in the swamp in Mendon. And
Yeah, and
you added
you
something to-
lived in the dirty city, so.
I didn't live in a dirty city. It was a clean city.
Oh.
Then. Anyway, that's all.
All right.
That's all.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good morning. To whom am I speaking?
Good morning. Do you remember Crew?
Morning, Moose.
Moose.
Hello, guys. Dave's question, I just caught part of it, something to do with Jaws. Could you please repeat?
Yeah, somebody, Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw was hooked up with this gentleman when they were filming Jaws, and he used to drink with him every night on Martha's Vineyard. And he was actually in the movie, the
Yeah.
gentleman
In the
that,
movie.
but he wasn't per
Wasn't
se
a
famous
star.
actor.
Wasn't a star.
Who was he, and who did he play?
Murray Hamilton, the mayor.
Good.
Pure guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's
I
possible.
mean, who else could there be? The other three stars, maybe Roy Scheider's wife. A co-star, and Murray Hamilton, outside of Quint Dreyfuss and Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are all actors, so we're looking for somebody that never acted before, probably.
Well, I mean, like, who else could have been?
But
Scheider's deputy?
who knows? I don't know.
No idea. Maybe, like I said, Scheider's wife. But she was in all of the Jaws movie. So, I don't know. That's a pretty good question. All right. Back to the questions from yesterday.
Yeah.
With Fats Domino, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, and James Brown. And how ironic both the songs you played were by two of those recording artists.
True.
Yeah.
Any idea what it is?
No.
It has nothing to do with the charts. It has nothing to do with a song. It has nothing to do with a particular song or a particular title. It has something to do with, well, very notable and something that they will always cherish. So I could throw out some other names, but I won't. And we're going to leave that out there. And Gary, do you know who's that famous James Stewart quote?
Well, my last guess was Katharine
Yeah.
Hepburn.
No. I'm going to repeat it again. Everybody just sat around and waited for her to come in the morning so we could just look at her. She was kind to everybody, so considerate, just great, and so beautiful.
Nothing.
Don't know.
Marilyn Monroe.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just no
Trying to think of.
stone in the pond woman I'm talking about here.
The what?
No, one-shot wonder, put it this way, or somebody who is not somebody obscure. Certainly not.
Well, I didn't think Marilyn Monroe and Katharine Hepburn were obscure, but
Oh, no, we're not referring to that, but I'm trying to point out, she was quite famous.
well, Jimmy Stewart had a lot of movies and a lot of female
Yeah,
co-stars.
yeah.
So
So just go down the line with Stewart movies, and it's a classic. There's your hint. It's a classic.
are you talking about Kim Novak?
That's a good guess. However, it is not correct.
Well, that was a good guess.
It is a good guess, but it is not correct. Okay, so we'll leave that out there.
All right, it's out there.
I'll tell you one more. President Nixon resigns 2 days after Stevie Wonder's record was released. What record?
Is this a cause and effect thing?
2 days after Stevie released this record, President Nixon says, I quit.
Was it
It might-
a 45 or an album?
No, it's a single.
Okay.
It's a single. So just try to pinpoint the year, and
Yeah.
and think about Stevie Wonder's
High
song.
ground.
So I'll leave that out there, and we'll get to the other questions later. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't vote.
No, you didn't.
I didn't vote. Geez, both great singers there. I'm going to go with Chuck Berry.
All right.
I'm going to go with Chuck Berry. The same kind of tune is No Particular Place to Go.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like I
Okay,
said,
I'll go with Berry,
like
but
I said, if
Coke
you
is
like
great.
one Chuck Berry song, you like them all.
Yeah, just about. All right, thank you, guys.
All righty.
Thanks.
Good morning. To my speaking.
Good morning, guys. It's Louise.
Hey,
I was
Louise.
going to
Hey,
guess.
Louise, before we even get started here, could you do me a favor and send me an email so I can contact you? I have something I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
That's Gary@woonsocketradio.com.
I usually don't give up my email, but
No, I'm no,
you-
you don't. No. I'm not asking you to give it out to me.
No.
Well, except for
even even off air, I don't usually
Oh.
do that. But for you, I'll make an exception.
All right,
So it's
just
what is it?
send me an email or call the station and give them your phone number.
Okay.
I just have a quick conversation with you.
And what is your email?
Gary@woonsocketradio.com.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Um,
And now,
Moose is looking for Stevie Wonder's You Haven't Done Nothing. We are amazed but not amused by all the things you said you'd do. So much concern but not enough for decisions that were made by you. We are sick and tired of hearing your song saying how you're going to change right from wrong, and if you really want to hear our view, you haven't done nothing.
well, and how do you really feel?
Grace Kelly would have been on a set
Ah,
with James Stewart,
that's about the
a
only
Rear
one.
Window.
About the only one
And
I
I
forgot.
thought of Kim Novak, but the way he kept talking about classic, and I'm like, oh, Grace Kelly, Rear Window, so it has to be that.
Ah, yeah.
And there's a scene in Jaws where a couple of local fishermen are on a pier, and one of them has stolen like his wife's pot roast or her ham, and they put a hook on it,
Yeah.
and they throw it off the pier, and you see that something is coming towards the pier, and it ends up crashing into the pier, and the guys are drunk, and they're just scared out of their wits, and they run away. And I'm wondering if it's one of those guys on the pier that stole the wife's dinner to try and catch the shark. And because they were drunk in the movie, too. They were portraying drunk. So
Good.
that would be my guess there.
Good guess.
Yes.
When I was going to school, we had what was called a school bag, but it was more like a satchel, and it was rectangular, and we'd go to Ann and Hope, and they were all lined up on the top shelf, and they had these like metal reinforced corners, but they were mostly like reinforced cardboard and canvas, and in some cases vinyl or plastic, and they always had two metal clasps, one on the left, one on the right, to open the satchel. And there was always a small pocket in front which had like a button clasp to it. And my first one was brown with plaid highlights. And to me, my first day of school was all about the stationery supplies. The pens, the pencils, crayons, whatever, the pads. I loved stationery supplies. And as a kid, we used to play Office. And I remember one Christmas, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was later revealed to me that my parents were having a bad year. They were kind of broke, and they didn't know what to get us for Christmas because funds were low. And my mother went to the dime store, and she got us a bunch of stationery supplies, and I was in heaven.
Yeah.
And but I was one of those kids, first day of school, I was the one that cried. I was the one with the separation anxiety, but I still remember my first grade teacher. She was ancient. She was a nun. Sœur Marianne de Précieux Sang, or Sister Mary Ann of the Precious Blood. But there was nothing precious about her attitude. She was like one of the meanies. Oh yeah, I hated first grade and most grades after that, and it's a wonder I never dropped out because I hated Sunday nights because that just meant school was the next day.
Really? Now that's very surprising to me because you're such an intelligent and I presume were a studious student, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, I was very studious, and maybe in that sense I was an overachiever. I mean, I do have a certain amount of intelligence. Thank you. But you know, when you're scared and timid and suffer from separation anxiety, and God forbid, do not give me a pop quiz. And you know, even later in life, when I was in college, you know, a lot of anxiety over test taking. But so in a sense, I overachieved because many people would have otherwise been intimidated and given up. So I give myself credit for sticking through it. But I once went into this 10-minute diatribe at work with my coworker and friend, and it was like why I hated Sunday nights. Because it always meant, you know, when you're a kid at school the next day.
Yeah, but Disney was on Sunday nights.
Yeah, that was the
and
consolation.
And I still remember that music, but it always, you know, it was tinged with that melancholy, like, yeah, when this show is done, I have to go to bed, and then what a waste of tomorrow.
You know, that is such a kind of a universal sadness that kids have when they dread going to school. You know, that's a terrible, terrible feeling, and teachers that that cause that kind of sadness,
make it worse.
You know, should not be in the business. I love teachers that challenged us and that didn't. When I was a little kid, I didn't want to be treated like a little kid. And my second grade teacher was this old, crotchety woman that you never messed with, but she would always took the time, with me anyway, to keep me after school and select books that you know, because I was way beyond Dick and Jane, which was the curriculum in second grade, and you know, I was reading at a 7th grade level at that point, and when we go around the room, around the classroom, everybody had to read, you know, a paragraph or something. Yeah. I would read it so fast that they couldn't hardly understand it.
Well, I don't mind staying on the line because I know you're overdue for a break, but I would like to share one more thing.
Please.
So I don't mind holding.
No, go ahead.
It was later revealed to my mother by my aunt. My cousin was a year behind me, and my cousin ended up having the same nun. And this nun told my aunt that they intentionally downgraded my grades. And it was, you know, VG was very good, E was excellent, G was good. They intentionally marked my grades down because they didn't want to give me a swell head. And
That's brilliant.
And that was the one thing that I needed because I was shy and insecure. And don't you think that would have pushed me over the edge to achieving more achieving more sooner? Yeah, that was the Christian thing to do, little nuns. And I just never understood that. Do you remember Leo Buscaglia?
Sure.
He was always on Merv Griffin, and when he was, my mother tuned in because she thought he had a lot of common sense.
Yep.
And I always remembered the show because I was in my teens by then when he said, you know, for the kid who's always flunking, do you give him a higher grade and say, look, Johnny, you got one right, you know, to encourage them? And then it just took me back to what they did to me in first grade. And I just see it as something that affected my life. And it's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You know, but I turned out okay. I think I turned out very okay.
Okay.
You did your parents proud.
Well, and they did right by me because my mother would never have sent me to public school, but she hated the nuns. I always I still to this day have an affection for them, but don't think I'm going to forget those little missteps where you didn't do the Christian thing. Yeah. And with that, I'll let you go.
Did you vote?
Chuck Berry.
Okay.
It's a toss-up, but I'm going by the fact that I bought Chuck Berry records before I bought Sam Cooke records. That's the only reason, but both good songs.
All right. Thank you, Louise.
Bye-bye.
And we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street in Woonsocket. This is ON AM and FM.
WOON, Woonsocket.
Like many of you, I think it's time to turn the page to a new style of Woonsocket city government. This is John Ward, and I'm asking to be your next mayor. The current mayor told Valley Breeze last November when speaking of Lisa Baldelli Hunt, I will forever be indebted to her. Not me. I'm indebted to you. I've learned a lot in 25 years and I'd like to continue. What will the John Ward administration look like? I appreciate our public servants. Order will be maintained, criminals will be arrested, fires will be put out, trash will be picked up, and the streets will be plowed and maintained. All this in a cost-effective and affordable manner. We will staff an administration without politics or bullying. There will be a transparency in all we do. We will carefully use our limited resources to bring important projects to completion, and it would all be done with honesty, integrity, and accountability. Let's turn the page. Please vote for John Ward for mayor on September 10th or in early voting. Thank you. Paid for by Friends of John Ward.
This ON AM and FM forecast sponsored by Travel Advisors International, 500 Menden Road in Berkeley Commons in Cumberland. Same phone number they've had for 30 years, 7251234. Experienced, trusted travel professionals on the web at www.taitrips.com.
Partly sunny skies and warm, high of 87. A southwest breeze could gust over 30 miles per hour, and there's a slight chance of some precipitation. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 58 and a breeze from the north. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny skies, 73 for a high. Friday, sunshine and 74. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, high near 78 and a tiny chance of a shower. Saturday night, the showers come in. Leftover showers on Sunday, but still partial sunshine with a high of 79. And on Monday, Labor Day, mostly sunny skies, high near 76. Tuesday, sunshine and 72.
All right, we are back, and let's get right to the calls. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
This is Wavy again.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Wavy.
The name of the show is Do You Remember, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you think it should be called, like, Do You Know Stuff? You know, because...
Well, we've gone down memory lane here quite a bit today. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue that. There's three things I remember. There's a memory I have. I remember covering your books. We'd cut... from shopping bags.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love doing that. I was really good at it, too.
The memory I have, and then the smell of the mimeograph, I think it was. It was always blue, the copy machine.
Yep.
Back in that day, they were always blue, and I remember the smell of that.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting my first library card. I was just thinking, because you're on this topic of school and going back to school. I remember getting my first library card. That's a memory that, and that was such a big thing. And then going to the library, I remember reading the entire Sherlock Holmes thing. I think it's 56 short stories and 4 full-length novels.
Arthur
Sherlock.
Conan Doyle.
Yeah, I read all of that. And I used to take magic books out. There was a section where they had some books with magic tricks. I take those out, and take them home, do the tricks. So, I have those three memories. Remember always covering the books with they sold book covers, but we always used that we got the bags from
Who
A&P.
had the money? They were
No, back then. We got the bags from A&P or Almax. Remember those two stores?
That's when they
No,
made.
you-
That's when they paper bags were paper bags, and they didn't
They
fall
were-
apart as
Made
soon
them
as
a
you
lot
touched
thicker.
them.
These days, the
God,
bags,
they're horrible today.
you got to pay a dime for them at Stop and Shop.
They're not worth it.
And they rip, right? When you're putting their bag in the stuff, right, and they rip.
Yeah, if you put
Put
anything more than a loaf, if you put a loaf of bread and a can of peas in there, the peas are gonna fall out.
Rip. Yeah, I got a bunch of bags, cloth
You'll
ones
have
with
peas
hands.
all over the floor.
I always forget to, take them when I go to the
I must
store.
have 1,000 of them, and I keep forgetting to bring them when I go. So.
Same here. All right, I just wanted to share those three things.
All right,
All right,
very
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning. To my speaking.
Hey guys, back at you one
Hey,
more
Moses.
time. Yeah, that was fun, is right, Gary. Cutting away your book covers from paper bags.
I love doing that.
It was. Of course, our paper bags was from, and Fast Eddie, but First National.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
On
Jesus.
Social Street.
A hop,
And you,
skip,
and you
a
could
joint-
write. You could write on the covers
Yeah.
and have it. But you know what? You never wrote in the book, and that's something that
That's right.
that gradually generations
Went away.
You
violated.
outlined the paper bags and the cover, and it made sure everything was straight.
You had
Everything was
you had
highlighted, and
Our books were. We had to turn them in. Obviously turn in your textbooks at the end of the year, but they were inspected.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
At some
you-
point, they stopped doing it
you
because.
had a thing
You
on
had
it.
to. They had to inspect them because you had to give them back.
Yes.
If they were damaged,
There was a piece of sticky paper on the inside of the cover, and you had to write your name.
Yeah.
And,
Uh-huh.
and everybody's name year to year is
Yeah,
on there.
that was always cool to look at too.
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
see the
yeah,
old,
yeah.
how
It
long
was
this
fun.
book's
it was
been
fun
around.
doing the
Yeah.
books, covering the books. I liked it. But the first grade, you remember what you did. In the first grade, the first thing I kind of not remember of the first day of school, but in the first year at St. Anne's School, Fast Eddie,
Yeah.
and the teachers were nuns, like Louise had mentioned. The thing they used to do over there, I don't know if you remember or not,
I never
Is
went to
that-
St. Anne's.
they would give you like a card every month. It looked maybe a little bigger than the shape of a face card, a playing card, a poker card, and on it they would give you a star or a minus something that would stick on there for your performance in a subject, performance as far as behavior was concerned, performance as far as how you were to the other students, and such like that. And it just so happened that me and this other girl, we used to get the most stars. We got the most stars. We were pretty good students and kind of smart at the time. But I didn't like this girl that I was competing with, and she knew. She knew she was competing with me, but she was such a little snot. Right? She would fess up to the teacher, and and do everything that the teacher wanted, and try to impress her all the time. And I just sat back and just did what I did. But I remember that little. Remember, I don't know if you got those cards or not, Fast Eddie.
No.
With the star on it.
No.
It was a glued star. They do it every month. So that's the first thing I remember in the first grade at St. Anne's School. But
I remember the sticky stars that teachers
Yeah,
used
they
to
were
put
all
on.
different.
They-
They were
that
all
was
different.
that was just a
different.
great thing when you got one of those, boy.
Yeah, on a,
that's what it
on
was.
a test paper,
Exactly.
they give you a
They
star.
used to put them
Exactly.
on your forehead. For
And
something.
the ever knowledgeable Louise has got two questions correctamundo. Grace Kelly is who's looking for. That's the woman on the set.
Yeah.
Boy, did I like her.
Who's sexier, Grace Kelly or Kim Novak?
Sexy, I don't know. Sexy is
Yeah.
as far as pure beauty is concerned, it's not even close. It's Grace Kelly.
Yeah, but sexy is Kim Novak.
Yeah,
Sexy is Kim Novak.
all day long.
Or attractive. Put it that way. She
No,
was-
just sexy. I mean, her whole personality, her look, everything about her was just sexy.
Grace
Grace-
Kelly was just
Grace
pure beauty. She
Grace
was
Kelly
beautiful.
was like the ice queen.
She was beautiful. She was pure beauty. And she's also got the question about Tricky Dicky resigning 2 days after Stevie Wonder's.
I'm not familiar with
record
that song.
If you
It's
heard
a number one
yeah.
song.
Yeah, you would.
Besides that, you haven't done nothing.
What timing? What timing?
What timing?
You know what? I will say this. I know the song, but I never paid attention to the lyrics.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I know.
I
it's
was
in
never.
the ON library.
I was
Maybe-
never a Stevie Wonder fan. So.
I never really paid attention to the lyrics in this song until I came upon that. I said, what? So let me check out the lyrics.
But you could sing that song about any politician. So.
That would be befitting, no doubt. That's what I got. We'll leave out those famous names, and maybe I'll give the answer at the end of the show. Thanks, guys.
All right, very good.
Bye-bye.
Did I go to a break?
No.
I didn't go to a break. Well, I'm going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Your station for news and sports. ON 1240.
As drivers, we encounter motorcycles on the road every day, and motorcycle safety is a two-way street. So give motorcycles extra space when stopping and starting. Check your mirrors and blind spots. Share the road, but never try and share a lane. Every rider could be a father, a son or a brother, a mother, a daughter or a sister, or the whole world to someone very special. Brought to you by the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
This ON AM and FM forecast brought to you by Boscheman Lumber, 334 Social Street, Woonsocket, 762-1657.
Partly sunny skies and warm, high of 87. A southwest breeze could gust over 30 miles per hour, and there's a slight chance of some precipitation. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 58 and a breeze from the north. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny skies, 73 for a high. Friday, sunshine and 74. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, high near 78 and a tiny chance of a shower. Saturday night, the showers come in. Leftover showers on Sunday, but still partial sunshine with a high of 79. And on Monday, Labor Day, mostly sunny skies, high near 76. Tuesday, sunshine and 72.
Imperial Car's month-long Labor Day sales event is going on now. Save thousands when you shop and compare 7 brands and over 2,000 new, used, and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at one location, ImperialCars.com. Take advantage of interest rates as low as 1.9% on our most popular models. We work with over 60 lenders to get you the best rate. Check out our huge selection of vehicles under $20,000. Click ImperialCars.com.
Which we did. So. Alrighty then. Good morning. To who am I speaking?
Good morning, it's Bobby.
Hi,
Hey,
Bobby.
Bobby.
Didn't have a chance to call in yesterday. I was on the road and I was busy, and every time I tried to call, it was busy. So, and today I'm not in my truck. I'm in the yard truck, which has no radio and no floors and a very badly busted windshield.
It's a
on the way home. On the way home yesterday, my truck decided to start hemorrhaging fuel out of the bottom of the tank.
Oh.
That was a fun ride. The fire department was involved. It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the 2 songs.
Very
I know
simple.
Chuck Berry-
School Days by Chuck Berry, Wonderful World by Sam Cooke, both classics.
I got to go with Sam Cooke.
Okay.
Got to go with Mr. Cooke. And you were talking about school days, and I have no idea what that noise is. Every light on the dash is on, so.
Get out of the truck and run.
Run for your life.
No, it's a good workhorse. It's just not my favorite vehicle to drive. When I first moved to Massachusetts, I went into the 5th grade, and it was a more advanced course. And I don't know if my mother had something to do with it or the school, but a month in, they decided, like, this is too advanced for Bobby, and they switched me to a slower class. And I'm actually glad they did, because that became my favorite teacher of all time. An older Jewish lady, and this was back when the teacher had to teach all the subjects, math, science, and everything. And I learned a whole lot from this lady, so I'm kind of glad they did. But I feel Louisa's pain that they wanted to keep her back a grade or something like that. But they did this kind of the same thing to me. They put me into the slower class. So So that is it for right now.
All right.
Okay.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
When I was in second grade, they could tell I was bored, and they wanted to promote me ahead of grade, and there was a big long discussion with child psychologists in the school and everything, and ultimately they kept me where I was, and I was so glad they did, because I just I liked my class, and we had we got all the breaks in my class as far as the teachers that were ahead of us went. That's the year ahead of me, they had some really bad teachers that I would have been so unhappy with. But anyway, good morning. To my speaking.
Hello.
The guys, Dave North Providence again. How are you?
Hey, Dave.
Got the answer to the question. So when Robert Shaw showed up on Martha's Vineyard, they wanted him to kind of get a feel of the island, so they hooked him up with one of the locals, a guy named Charles Kingsbury. And they became good friends when out drinking. Well, Charles Kingsbury played Ben Gardner, the lead guy in the posse of the shark hunters in the middle of the movie, when they say, those guys are hoping that their mothers have never met their fathers, and later on when they find his boat, his is the head that pops out of the hole.
Oh. Okay.
So it was, Charles Kingsbury played Ben Gardner, but he and Robert Shaw became good friends during the filming of that movie.
Okay.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
You guys have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dave.
Okay.
Good morning. To my speaking.
Good morning, everyone.
It's
Louise.
Louise again. And as soon as he said Ben Gardner, I said to myself, yeah, that's the one scene I've never opened my eyes for in Jaws.
I feel the same way about anything that involves a decapitation. I cannot watch. What was the movie with in Vietnam with
Apocalypse Now?
Apocalypse Now. I mean, there's a beheading scene in there which I cannot watch. I just can't.
Well, the only time I've seen Apocalypse Now was when they aired it on one of the networks, you know, like a Sunday movie type of thing, and I'm sure they edited it out. But just when you said Vietnam, and I always had perceived that movie was darker than most, so I took a shot at mentioning that movie. But my sister had seen Jaws before I did. And she said that there was a scene. She says, "You're gonna jump," and she says, "I know you don't like to be scared." So when Richard Dreyfuss goes underneath the ship at night, she says, "Close your eyes." And all these decades later, I have not seen that scene because I closed my eyes before. But on to cheerier thoughts. I'm wondering if the group of men that Chuck Berry mentioned, that Moose mentioned, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Little Richard. I wonder if their only Grammy was a Lifetime Achievement Award. And stated another way, I wonder if, I know for Little Richard this is true because I saw his special on the American Masters repeated the other night, and I watched it for the third time. I just can't turn away. And he never received a Grammy for any record, any performance of his. And it was only, after he stopped cutting records that he was given the Lifetime Achievement. And I'm wondering if the same is true for Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, I forget who else he mentioned.
James Brown. James Brown.
Yeah.
Could be.
He was, I'm thinking of Living in America, which is, something that carried into the 70s with the Rocky movies. But, yeah, I don't think he won either. I could be wrong, but he said something about cherishing. And,
good guess.
There's a lot of good artists that never received Grammys, which speaks volumes in terms of who's voting and the times in which the voting takes place. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. Well, Louise, I want to kind of elaborate on something you brought up about, the Sunday nights being so dreadful. And this is kind of like maybe a PSA thing here, but for any parents that are listening, if you notice any strange, unusual behavior, even subtle behavior changes now that school has started, and with your first, second, any age really, there could be something going on with your child that relates to their school experience that needs to be addressed, and just look out for it, because it's a big change for a kid. I mean, I went from a one-room schoolhouse first grade to a sixth grade big building in second grade, and it was so very, very different. And I got spanked my first day of school because, and I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. Our teacher would line us up to go to the boys' room and the girls' room, and we all had to go up to the second floor where the bathrooms were and line up and go to the bathroom. But I refused to go because I didn't have to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't imagine what this old lady was going to do to make me go to the bathroom. and it was, for my little second grade mind, it was traumatic.
Yeah.
So she spanked me, and the next, then she talked to my mother that night, and my mother explained where I had come from, and then what endeared me to this woman for the rest of her life was the fact that she, for probably the very first time in her old life, apologized to me in front of the whole class.
Wow.
And and we were just very close for the rest of her life. And after that, and I remember many years later writing a thank you letter to her while she was still alive in the Milford Daily News. And that there was but those, you just can't underestimate the effect that these things have on kids.
Right.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that about spotting the problem, and because sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. And as you mentioned that, I was transported back a few years when my cousin's daughter, who was very bright, and she was a product of the elementary school. It was in East Providence public school, but she did not want to go to East Providence High School. So she went on one of those open house tours of Bayview, and she came home, and my cousin asked her, how was it? You were all excited about going, and she just burst into tears because she was so overwhelmed. She was used to her local community public school, and Bayview just scared her. Well, I'm sure it's closed by now, but there was a little local high school in Warren called Our Lady of Fatima, and it was very small, and they took a tour there. They found it. I don't know how they found it, or found about it, I should say. And they took a tour there, and she went to that school, and it was smaller. It was more workable for her. She wasn't overwhelmed. It was more of a community. And I'm sure that school is closed by now, but she did well in the right environment. And a lot of I mean, in this case, it was rather obvious. She came home crying, so my cousin knew something was wrong. But you make a valid point. Sometimes it's very, very subtle, and you have to be aware and do the right thing by your child.
Yeah, because the teachers, they're seeing these kids in first grade. They're seeing them for the first time, so they don't know what's normal for this child and what isn't. And but even having said that, if you've got a kid, that's always sitting in the back corner and he's falling asleep all the time, I mean, there's something going on there that needs to be just at least peripherally addressed with the parents. Maybe this kid's staying up too late. Maybe
or maybe he's hungry.
Or maybe he's hungry. So something going on, and teachers are supposed to report any signs of physical abuse, but there's other stuff going on.
Yep.
Sure.
And maybe it's perfectly innocent, but you won't know till you ask. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you once again for allowing me to share.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you for
a
sharing.
pleasure. Thank you. And with that, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
WOON Woonsocket. This ON Radio weather forecast is